Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
Oh, we
Gosh,
should do
it's
the
already time.
introductions because maybe some people we've got a bunch of folks who didn't join us for web and are joining us for JavaScript, which is extremely okay.
Absolutely. Yeah, let's get started right away.
So,
We are kicking off our first week of the JavaScript Bootcamp completely free, happening live. But don't worry if you're catching it just now. We're going to be also recording. All of these are actually being recorded as we speak. If you go to youtube.com/at bad website club, you'll find all of the videos as they've been uploaded there. We also have a schedule, which I'll post up here in just a sec. Sorry, I didn't mean to speak over you, Jess.
no, you're not doing a thing. I have a tiny computer issue, which I'm just fixing now. Nothing is wrong.
Oh dear.
Hey,
Everything's fine?
no. Everything's as good as it's getting. Everything's fixed
Yeah.
now.
Oh, well, while we
Hello,
get
hello.
oh, I'm so sorry, Jess, I lost you there for a sec.
No. I'm suspicious, but hopeful that things are working now.
Amazing. Great to see folks tuning in from all over the place. Got folks tuning in from Kenya, from Houston-ish. Amazing. Thank you all so much for joining. If you're joining in for the first time, this is the kickoff session of the free not web development. See, muscle memory. Of the
I'm gonna
free
be right
JavaScript.
back. I'm just gonna fix my connection. I'm so sorry. Please, if you could do all the admin and all the boring stuff.
I'll take care of the boring stuff in the meantime. Hi, everyone. We'll just get that all sorted in just a minute, but just to do a little bit of housekeeping before we get started. Got folks from Maryland, from Tanzania. It's great to see you all here. If you're joining for the first time, as said, we're doing a free JavaScript bootcamp using Free Code Camp's materials. We had a Q&A session where we introed a little bit about what we'd be doing, but just in case you're catching up now, which is totally cool, let me pass you all here the link to the curriculum. You'll be able to see all of the stuff we'll be covering during this bootcamp. Today is sort of the kickoff session. And after that, we'll be doing our projects together. We'll be learning together. And this is all self-paced. So don't worry if you maybe fall behind or if you find something that needs to. Folks complimenting me on my background are very kind. Oh yeah, if you fall behind or if something's out of sorts, please let us know. We've got a Discord channel. If you want to join us there, let me bring up that banner. We've got bit.ly/BWC-Discord-invite. I'll post that into the chat as well, just in case some folks want to click on that right away. There you go. You will need to verify by way of clicking on the green flag in the announcements, and we'll get you verified via a bot, and then you can join in the conversation. So through that schedule link, you'll also find a Google Calendar. So we'll be sorting that out. And yeah, last thing. By joining this bootcamp, you are agreeing to abide by our code of conduct. So if you go to bit.ly/BWC-COC, you'll find all the information there about the code of conduct. If you notice anything out of sorts, please let us know. But essentially, this boils down to making sure everybody's in a friendly, positive environment. So. Let's hop right in and get started. I'm going to share my screen here real quick. Amazing. So we will be looking at the JavaScript algorithms and data structures one. And Heather's asking, is there a target for today? We're going to get as far as we can, and we'll give out some homework, and we'll be keeping a schedule. We'll be doing this first set of lessons, which is the Learn Basic JavaScript by Building a Role-Playing Game. It is pretty long. The way it's going to work is there are a set of steps we'll do leading up to 174. So we'll be getting as far as we can, giving you all some homework, and then the next day we'll be continuing from a certain point. The objective is to get. Oh, hey, Jess.
Hi, I had a very, very predictable technical issue. Um,
Oh gosh, I hope everything's okay.
well, so I had something disconnect my internet,
Oh
and
no.
I am going to introduce him and put him outside.
Oh no.
Push. This is my worst cat, Marquis, and he's now gone. No, but he's gone in the
No.
other room. Not gone, gone. I do apologize. What an unprofessional sidetrack that I had to
You're
vanish for a minute
totally
because of
fine.
cats.
And he is the best.
I'm gonna send that cat to come live at your house.
I'll
So we've
People are
gotten through the
excited to see
important
the cat.
stuff, pair programming, never
Yep.
have more.
Yep.
Do you know what? That's a life lesson. Never have more cats than you have hands. Um, there we go. So we did the code of conduct, we did all the
Yep.
housekeeping, and you introduced
Everything's ready.
yourself.
Oh no, I guess I didn't introduce us, did I?
Wait,
Jess, do you want to go ahead and go first?
no. You hush. Hurry up. You're wasting learner time.
Oh my goodness. Yes. Well, hi, I'm Ramon. I've been doing this bootcamp for a couple of years, and I'm based in Vienna, in Austria. I'm originally from Chile, and it is my honor to be doing this with you, Jess.
And being very, very shy, Ramon won't say that he's a fantastic web developer and speaks like all of the languages very casually. So very, very smart, very, very nice. Really, it's unnecessary. It's gross. I'm Jess. I am not super good at JavaScript, so we'll learn together. And I'm based here in the UK, in Birmingham, which is like the best city. But we're going to have a really laid back time today. And I might. So, have you talked about pair programming yet?
No, I haven't.
We're going to be pair programming. We're not going to say, because I'm the main teacher. Let's make the learners tell us, what does pair programming mean?
Ooh,
And while
sounds
they
good.
do, I'm going to. So, I'm going to grab the link for folks who are interested in it. Okay,
Fantastic.
we've got other people in the UK. So I'm always careful to be like, it's super okay to be wrong. It's always okay, like making mistakes is. But we've got people in the UK who are saying, these other cities are the best city, and Liverpool's nice. Sheffield has really good Mexican food, but for folks who haven't been yet, it's Birmingham. We're going to be starting from this will be on the test. Ramon, there are tests, aren't there?
No, of course not. No, this is
Deadlines, though.
self-paced.
Very deadly serious
No
deadlines.
deadlines. No deadlines. No attendance. We're just here to learn together.
Okay. So we're going to be
So we're going to
learning
start our first project.
JavaScript. And what we're
Yeah.
going to build,
Ooh.
for those of us who did web, if you didn't do web, the first couple of steps will feel weird, but we'll get through them together. This feels like something we could make in HTML and CSS. But what JavaScript does is it adds interactivity to our web pages and web apps. I've got welcome to the dragon repeller. You must defeat the dragon that is preventing people from leaving the town. You're in the town square. Where do you want to go? Use the buttons. Go to the store. Oh, I've got 50 gold. If I push buy weapon, I think that should
Mm-hmm.
go down. Oh,
Let's see.
I now have a dagger.
Fantastic.
I
Yeah,
can't.
and your goal went down.
I can I have some more health? Oh, and some more health. Okay. I'll go to the cave.
Oh, wow.
Oh, I could do a lot of things here. This is so nice. Farhad, that's such a good question. I'm just gonna save this. Because we'll definitely answer this. Um,
Oh, we have
okay.
an answer from Sonia.
Oh,
So
Sonia,
one types the code while another one drives the logical thinking behind the code.
this is
Love it.
exactly what pair program is, because we've got the brawn, the muscles doing the typey, and the brains doing the logic. So I'm gonna start
Amazing.
coding. We're gonna make this game.
So on the left here, we've got our code and instructions. And on the right, we've got a preview of the website we'll be building. Because yes, we're going to be writing JavaScript and a little bit of HTML and CSS. Now to clarify, we just finished the HTML and CSS web bootcamp last week. But don't worry, You don't need to fully understand JavaScript, HTML, and CSS, but it is a good idea to perhaps catch up a little bit on those lessons. And in fact, there's a link in these instructions to the web development lessons.
And I'll just talk through what we're doing. So HTML, so we're going to have 3 files in a
Correct.
folder, but we're all going to do these in the browser. So one of the files is
Correct.
our index.html, and these are going to be the
Yep.
actual things that appear on our page. We've got people in
Yeah.
the chat arguing about MUDs like they used to exist back in the day. I still play
Ooh,
MUDs. I'm very cool.
love
So
it.
the actual content that sits on our page is going to be this HTML. We're not going
Yep.
to teach it in depth, but would you be a dear and grab the playlist for the web development? Because I think I've only got the first couple up there, but this boilerplate will be covered
Yeah.
early. And I'll add the rest, I promise. So we've
I
got
need to catch up on that as well. I'll
our
get the
doc
playlist.
type. Yeah, and I'll talk through this while I type it because it's just going to be a little typing. We've got our HTML main element, and if you haven't done HTML before, I promise this is just going to be a little part of it. It can't hurt you. So here I've declared the type of document I've got here is HTML.
Yep.
Here's our HTML element. Here's our
Yep.
head element.
Mm-hmm. And
And
inside
here
our
gives
head. Oh,
you- a
go for it.
body. So our head. Heck, inside. Meta. And for folks who've done this before, the care set is almost always UTF-8. For folks who haven't, this feels mysterious, but we teach it in the other boot camp. The videos won't go away. Title. And if you wanted to skip right to JavaScript and haven't done it, you could probably copy the code I'm typing out and get by. So I'm going to come. Oh, heck. Sorry, I've been switching between Windows and Mac machines and they scroll different. A link to a style sheet.
So we've got,
The
we're going to
ref.
set up our style sheet. Yeah.
Oh gosh, what's this code called that's kind of samey, that's almost always the same?
What do you mean by samey?
So aside from this title, this is kind of going to be the same HTML code I use to set up my page every
Oh,
single time. For folks who joined us for a learner, always fast, always perfect. And there's no obligation to be perfect. Valentia, Mitch, everybody's like boilerplate. Eric, good common sense. Eric's, and I'm going to make a point here. I love this point. Eric's saying, don't forget lang.ing. And we probably need that to pass our tests. But if I was making this game for real, does it have to be in English?
no, absolutely not. So this EN part is telling your browser, hey, this website's in English. But if you want to tell your browser that your website's in Spanish, you just put ES or DE for German.
And that's meta again?
No,
Oh no, it's
no.
in my HTML. It's my image, yeah.
Yep. So if you go there, exactly.
Ha ha ha. And we are doing it in English this time, okay? And we have a div inside our body with the ID set to game. Okay.
And a div is a conceptual rectangle here. So it's not going to, we're not going to see anything inside it, but we'll be building stuff in there. We're giving it an ID of game. Again, you can review all of this in the Web Development Bootcamp playlist.
I love how
Let's check our
excited
code.
folks are to answer. They're just like boilerplate. Fantastic, stunning, perfect look. If I've typed this right, we'll get a little green stripe up the side.
Love that green stripe. Nice.
Everything's fine.
Shall we pat ourselves on the back? Pat, pat?
Doing a little pat on the back.
Love it.
That's what you get from the nice teacher. From me, you only get homework. So,
ooh, this is
a
new.
script tag inside our HTML.
So in our head element, we're going to be adding a new type of element called script. And this lets us load or write JavaScript into our HTML. So your browser is going to see the script element and say, oh, cool, there's JavaScript here. I'll go ahead and run that JavaScript or interpret that JavaScript, as in run it in the browser. So if I just put it like that, we can see nothing
Okay.
happens in the preview. Nothing's happened yet because we haven't written any JavaScript. We're just telling the browser, hey, there's some JavaScript in here.
Yeah, and right now our HTML as well. I'm going to put this to the learners, especially all of y'all who joined us for web. Why don't I see anything? Looking at the HTML code we have in step 2, why don't I see anything in the preview yet?
Yeah.
So,
Nice. So next, we're going to be looking at our developer console. We've used this a couple of times. Oh, I think because you're sharing the tab, Jess, it's going to like cut off the console. Shall I do it on my end?
if it's not a bother?
Not at all. We're on step 3.
Yeah.
Let me bring that up. Give me 1 second. Cool. Now, let me share my screen real quick. Sorry, folks. Give me a minute.
Everything is meditatively fine. Everything is that's something to go ahead and stress for folks who haven't been learning with us yet, that everything's very, very laid back and ideally, none of this should hurt us. Like, it's
Absolutely.
just programming. It's just JavaScript.
Mm-hmm. So we're going to be opening up the developer console in our browser. And believe it or not, just about every browser has one built in. There are different ways to open yours. For example, in Google Chrome, which is what I'm using here to present, I can press, and I'm on a Mac, so that's going to be Command Shift I. I pressed the wrong thing. It is Command Alt I. I apologize. And you can see that now my window sort of shifted a little bit and I can see some new stuff here at the bottom. This is the console. Yeah. So I can use that here. We have
Okay.
different tabs and we've used it before in HTML and CSS if you've done the boot camp to look at our elements. But today we're going to be looking at this part here, the console. And you're going to see this console have a bunch of text in it. Some good, some scary.
Not
Now,
not
what we
so
can
scary, not dangerously scary.
No. So what we can do as developers is write to the console or write messages for ourselves. This is done,
Ooh.
and we're going to be writing our first JavaScript code here. We're going to type in console. Then we're going to use a full stop, log, and then in brackets, using smooth brackets, we're going to see some output already show up. We have an error here. That's totally fine. We can ignore it. It was just running the code as I typed it. And then inside these brackets, I can write a message to be delivered to the console. You'll see what I mean. If I type in hello JavaScript pals, you're going to see my code will be run by Free Code Camp. And here at the bottom, we can see this message. Hello JavaScript pals. Now, a couple things. Console.log. Here we're saying, hey, console. With the dot, we're saying, hey, I want you to do something for me. I want you to log. And what do I want to log? Well, whatever's inside these smooth brackets. And what is it that I'm putting into the smooth brackets? This is going to be this message here, which is surrounded in quotation marks. In many programming languages, these set of characters inside quote marks are called strings of characters. Yeah. So we're saying, hey, console, I want you to log the string hello JavaScript pals.
Okay.
Oh, Jess, you're sharing your screen again.
I am. I'm trying to. Am I sharing this screen? Perfect. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm so sorry that I've got Firefox set up. Can you see you can't see my console. It opens in a second thing.
Yeah.
Let's go
Should
ahead.
I do it on Firefox on my end?
No. You go ahead and continue with the. We'll just swap back and forth. It's fine. Sorry, I was just
fine.
see. It's a very embarrassing. Oh heck, how do I do this in Firefox moment?
Everything is fine. Like most browsers will have a way to open that console, and they'll differ from browser to browser. But essentially, that's what we're doing. Console.log, hello JavaScript pals. And that makes it show up here. Now, let me check my code real quick because I don't think I followed the instructions. See, it says here, sorry, your code does not pass, keep trying. What we want to add here is add a console.log hello world line between your script tags. Then click the console button to open the console. You should see the text hello world. And you saw it showed up here, but that's not all. We can also, if we press this console button here, check it out.
Okay.
Also captures this. Now, one more thing to do that you might notice here is there is a semicolon at the end. Oh, somebody noticed. Thank you very much. There is a semicolon missing. So what's going on? Every line of JavaScript will have a semicolon at the end. It's very similar to CSS in that it tells the browser, it tells the interpreter, that's the end of this line. This isn't going to apply all the time. You're going to find inconsistent code bases. Some don't have the semicolon. I like to, when in doubt, put in the semicolon. But sometimes you're going to see inconsistent stuff.
And like JavaScript's pretty good about giving you a little error to say, hey, do you know what? This didn't work for me.
So with that done, we can go ahead and check our code. But I still haven't done what they wanted because I'm supposed to type in hello world. So these are the tests that are being run by FreeCodeCamp to ensure that our code does what it should do. And there we go. Now we've got the stream working. A little pat. Yeah, absolutely. Shall we pass it back to you, Jess?
Yeah, I'll take back over. Everything's chill. So before we start writing our project code, we should move it to its own file to keep things organized. Okay. For those of us who joined us with web, no biggie if you didn't, this feels really familiar because remember when we first wrote some CSS, HTML adds content to our page, CSS styles it. When we first wrote CSS, we added it in style tags and then moved it to its own file. Does JavaScript do the same thing where we would have like a JavaScript file?
Yes. And
all right,
this would, instead of being .css for styles, this will be .js. So what Jess is doing here is saying like, hey, browser, please look up the content of the file script.js.
Oh, so this, where we've got a / is doing something as well, isn't it?
Yeah, it's saying, hey, look inside the current folder. The current folder that this HTML file is in, there should be a JavaScript.js file there as well.
Okay. So one thing that's going to be a little challenging, because we're dealing with all of this in the browser right now, is these are generally files, and they're files that either live on my computer or they're files that live on a server. And we'll talk some more about that later, I bet. It's not going to get us yet. But if we check our code, no.
Ooh, what's the error? Shall we? Oh, did you press the button? Oh, no, I don't think you pressed the button.
Definitely press the button. Remove my console log hello world line. Definitely. Now,
you need to close the script, Jess. The tag.
Even though there's nothing in it.
I don't think script is a self-closing tag. There you go.
Not a self-closing tag. You're absolutely. And if you didn't join us for web and you're like, what's a self? It's okay. We'll fill that in later. So
Mitch is saying each of the CS. Oh, sorry.
Please.
Mitch is saying each of HTML, CSS, and JavaScript is put into their own separate file.
Absolutely. Oh, kind of a separation of concerns.
Love that.
Here we've got a ton going on. I've got it highlighted that I'm seeing my JavaScript file, which has been created for us. And this is going to get super crowded. I'm sorry. We could look at our index at the same time as well if we had a giant monitor and lots of focused attention. So our HTML hasn't got away. We're just minimizing it so we can focus on other things. We can add our console log world to this line of the file. And I'm energy efficient. I'm going to copy and paste this, even though you shouldn't. You should type it.
So let's see what happened here real quick, because now we're in script.js. You've typed in the console log hello world, and I can see on the console on the right, the hello world shows up, which is good. So what happened was, back in HTML, it said, cool, I'm just going to run whatever's in this file.
Oh. So unless I tell it to wait for something, as soon as the HTML goes and loads the JavaScript file, it's going to do whatever JavaScript stuff that I've said to do.
Exactly.
This sounds dangerous. This sounds like if I want something to happen at a certain time.
This is new.
Oh
Oh my
no,
God,
I'm
it's
gonna
animated
cry. Look
now.
at the bear. Oh no. Oh no. So the boot camp is super, super free,
Yep.
and Free Code Camp is free. But Free Code Camp is also a registered nonprofit. So if you have the money and it's not going to hurt you, donating to Free Code Camp is a super nice thing to do. I donate on my other account and I leave this so we get the pop ups for me to be like, hey, it's the like and subscribe of this boot camp. Oh no.
Oh, so now
So
we're
the
going to write the line let. So we're writing here let XP. So let space XP and then a semicolon.
this is a variable.
We've just defined our first variable. Now,
Let's get our yellow
the
a green stripe for this, and then let's talk about what a
yeah,
variable is, right?
yeah. And I also want to clarify something else. Oh,
Oh,
we were supposed, I should have read the instructions, my mistake. So we removed our console log and we've replaced that line with let XP. Now, I want to be super clear about what's going on here. We've just declared our first variable.
okay.
And a variable is going to be something that we're going to be using a lot in JavaScript. So we're going to make sure that we understand what it's doing.
Haha, I got
So
you.
now we've written, oh, we've got boxes.
I've got I tried to do this with like a big plastic box and putting different cats in it, but y'all know I got like 9.5 scratches trying to practice this. So you get a little takeaway box instead. A variable is
Yeah.
a box. Really, it's a
Oh,
store of
let me make this
oh.
so I can see you better.
So a variable is a store of value. It's like
Mhm.
an empty box. So when I say I
Yes.
have to declare a variable, and that really feels like magic. I'm going to say, I declare that this variable exists.
You're sort of
But
reserving a space for some stuff to be in there.
yeah, but you've got to do, it feels a little bit like magic because like you've got to call it
Yeah.
a name to make a
Yep.
variable. So if I have a variable and I say, I'd like this variable, so let panda exist. So if I just say let panda, that means I'm creating a box, a store of value called panda, and now it doesn't do
Mhm.
anything.
Yeah,
But
it's just a box called panda.
let's come back to the code for just a second. So I've got a
Yeah.
variable called panda, and here I've got a variable called XP.
Right.
And here, what I've done is I've said, so let XP is the same as here, have a box called XP. And
Yep.
what I say equal, I'm going to say XP, when I call for XP, I'm going to get the value stored inside it, which is 0. And here for my panda, I could say, okay, whenever I call panda, I could put I could say is equal to a little cactus. And now
Mhm.
whenever I call, say, hey, give me what's in panda, it'll give me a little cactus. If I don't need a little cactus, it's gone. I could put other things in here. I could put an orange in here. I could put, this is not just a segue for me to have a drink, but I could put my soda in here. This is just
Perfect.
a store of value. I like to think of it as a wall of cubby holes that I can put different values in.
If you did the web dev bootcamp, this is going to be real similar to CSS variables. We're using these as a label that we can refer to a value. We don't care what the value is. We just want to use that value somewhere. In
And
fact, go ahead.
so I was going to say, if this doesn't make sense, that is completely fine. The language we use in tech, like, oh, it's a store of value. That doesn't mean anything. And me saying, it's like a box, it's like a mailbox, it's like a cubby hole, it's like putting a cat in a plastic tub. none of that's going to make sense until you use them for a while. I
Totally.
promise that eventually it will make sense. We're just going to fake it until it does.
You know
So
what,
right
Jess?
now,
I want to. Oh, sorry.
yeah,
I want to. I want to play around with this variable. Now we have a variable, and I've learned how to do one thing in JavaScript, which is console log.
yeah,
Can I console log the value of XP?
yeah. So, oh, what would happen? So I'm on line 1 of my code. What would happen if I console logged it here?
Oh, yes. Let's find out.
Console log, and here I just say XP?
Right. We don't want the quote marks because the quote marks will say, well, just print out the letters XP, but we want to print
Ooh.
out the value that's inside
But we want to
XP.
the learners, and there's a little bit of a delay, so it's not fair. What will this do? And this is such a
Oh, yeah.
valuable learning experience to look at some code and try and guess what it's going to do. Because like this code's a little bit simple, so you might be able to guess. Oh, there's like a 50-50 chance because I've done a little mean thing. I'm going to grab our
Mm.
console and get it up.
Undefined?
Undefined.
Hold on a minute.
Learners. Why didn't this work? It should say 0, right? So Mira is very, very close, Mr. It'll it should. Ah, why? Is it not wrong? Not wrong. Just creative. Tara, after my own heart. So JavaScript's not that smart. JavaScript starting at the top of the file and it's reading down. So I said, hey, hey, hey. Thank you so much, my love. Lisa explains this really well. Oh, and PJ as well. And then learner gives this to me in a really, really lovely way. So yeah. So, and Earthy even gives me a way to fix it. So first it says, show me what's in the console. And it does. And it says, baby, there's nothing in the console because JavaScript's overly familiar. I'm going to cut this using Command or Control X. And I'm going to paste it using Command or Control V. And now I get
Now
that
it shows
0.
0.
And this is going to happen a lot. Emmanuel is out here giving us pro level stuff and says it's because it's compiler. Emmanuel, please, I'm begging you, please don't make me think of a beginner accessible way to explain a compiler. I'd be like, it's like a
Could you tell
box.
us?
No, I've got nothing. So here we're reading from the top down, and I say, I declare this variable called XP, and not just declaring it. I'm going to use the equal sign to give it a value of 0. And then I'm going to say console log to report it. Check my
The
code.
term you're going to see a lot is going to be assign. So you're going to declare a
Assign.
variable and you're going to assign it a value. So I think that warrants a pat, Jess. I'm going to go ahead. Pat. Let's go.
Because like all of y'all, and it's because I heard somebody's like, oh, I got it wrong. Babe, and I'm sorry to be overly familiar. Getting stuff wrong is genuinely such a good way to, and this isn't even real wrong. That was me tricking you. Okay, we're gonna
Ooh,
go a
okay.
little faster.
Now we know what we're doing here. We're going to make another variable called health.
Okay, but look at this language. Initialize.
It's the same as declare. So we're going to declare a variable called health with a value of 100.
Okay. Oh, do you know what?
Then we're going to declare another one called gold. Oh, don't forget the let.
And we're going to learn some different ways to do variables in a little while. But for now, they can't hurt us. We don't know them, so they don't exist. So we've got 3 variables. And remember this initialize, declare, just different tech words for speak it into being. And check our code.
Looks good. That's a pat. We did it quick.
It's about, okay, so you're all pat. And I'm just like, release a big sigh because nothing broke.
So when a variable name has
Eric, I
multiple
love it.
words.
Eric said define.
Oh, I like it. So this is the next thing we're going to learn is called a convention, right? This is a convention here is how most programmers, how a lot of programmers, oh, Lisa's got me. I'm sorry, I got distracted. Declare and initialize are different though. Declare is making the variable, initialize gives it a value. I would have said declaring it is making the value. Completely agree. Initialize is giving it the value. I would call that assign. I mean, we're getting, and I could be wrong here. Maybe initialize is both declaring and assigning.
Okay, I'm also not sure, so I'm going to check.
Yeah. In the meantime, let's look at what we've got here. So the convention of naming variables in JavaScript hangs on one very important thing. You can't put spaces in your variable names. There are no
Ah,
spaces in your variable names.
while you're
If you
doing that,
do,
Lisa's right.
then I apologize, Lisa. I get stuff wrong all the time. Thank you. There are no spaces in JavaScript variables. Oh, wait, PJ17 says from the top of step 7, variables can be assigned a value when you do this, and when you declare it, it's called initialization. So we're kind of both right. I apologize. I didn't want to go down that rabbit
you're
hole.
both right, but Lisa's more right.
Oh, absolutely. Right. Sorry, I keep getting distracted.
No.
When
So
we've got a variable, we can't put spaces in the name. But when you've got a bunch of lowercase letters and they denote several words, it can be really, really difficult to read. What some programming languages will do is they'll use underscores in their variable names to separate words. In JavaScript, we use a capital letter on the first letter of the next word. This is called camel case. Using underscores, this is called snake case. Jess highlights it very well. Camel case looks like this. Are you typing snake case too?
yeah.
Love it.
And like nothing can keep you from writing snake case in JavaScript, but the convention is just like and I say nerds in a non-pejorative way. Most nerds agree that in JavaScript we use camel case. Why? Because I
Absolutely.
said so. Ooh, and me, I love how folks are just like, don't forget Pascal case where you start with a cat. No. Y'all are right as heck, but we're not going to make this more complicated. You're correct. Let's talk about abstraction later because I don't want to get off track. But learners, can you remind me to talk about abstraction in computer science and abstraction in learning later on? Nope. Everybody, back on track. This is
I
camel
love
case.
people showing off all of the different ones. But yes, so in
Kebab. Stop it. Wait. Stop. All of y'all are clever and cute. Be clever and cute in the Discord.
So can you scroll up a little bit, Jess, please, so you can see the assignment?
So
we're going to make another variable called current weapon and set it to 0.
And
We're
I'm going
going
to copy
to
and paste this because
initialize it.
the learners from the last boot camp told me I couldn't say I was lazy anymore. So I'm going to say energy efficient. So I'm going to copy and paste this in an energy efficient way. I'm very confident this is working fine because I copied it.
Let's take a look.
What?
So we did assign it a value, but we didn't declare it with let. This does happen. If you see it, double check to make sure that you've already declared that variable.
And this, I could pretend I did this on purpose, even though I didn't. This gives me my favorite chance to evangelize, my favorite thing to sell in learning. And learners who've been doing the web bootcamp before will absolutely know what I'm about to say. The best thing you can do for yourself as a learner is to get really, really chilled out about being wrong. If you get really, really like if you just let that sort of scar over in your heart, not only does it make learning so laid back, but you can bring this into your day-to-day life. If you're chill about being wrong, whew, the ability for the world to hurt you goes way down. Oh no, people are giving other advice I've given in the past, which is I've never said this, but Mia is saying work smarter, not harder. I'm always working harder. And learner, this is so sweet. Like keep trying it out, get weird, experiment. Oh, maybe this is other people's good advice. I wouldn't say
There we go. That's a pat right there.
little pat. Let's pop on. Declare a variable called fighting. But do not initialize it with a value.
We did that with XP before. So you just want to put in let fighting.
Let fighting.
That's the name.
Oh, little tiny quick pat. 2 more variables, but we're not going to initialize them. Okay.
So same as fighting, we'll do monster health and inventory.
Okay. I'm going to copy and paste these because typos are really out to get me. And let inventory.
Perfect.
Is
Yep,
it? Is it?
semicolons are there. I'm kind of
That's
taking all the pat credit, but I'm gonna still pat myself on the
no,
back.
no,
I think we all deserve
not
it.
that. Assign the inventory. Let's talk about
Oh,
strings.
cool. I recognize strings from the console log part. So variables don't just have to be numbers. They can be all kinds of data types. And data types come in all shapes and sizes. They can be numbers. They can be, oh, Fahad saying, what if we define null? Yeah, we can have a variable that has a value of null. We'll get into what null is later on in the bootcamp.
If you see me typing in the background, it's because I want to give everyone so I just like this course overall. And I don't want to make this confusing.
Yeah.
Introduction to computing. I'll share this in the Discord later, but there's a really
Yeah.
good MIT OpenCourseWare course where this really fantastic professor, Anna, what's your surname? Annabelle. Good name. Love somebody with like a
Yeah.
uh, a noun as a surname. Very very strong, very strong. Who covers this really well. And when she teaches this, she says a string is any number that can 0 or more of characters, and these can be digits, these can be letters, these can be non-Roman letters in a string, but they're 1 or more, 0 or more letters enclosed by quotation marks that are treated as an object.
Exactly.
So
Just
you
like in
see why
console
I'm
log when we were printing out hello world, here we're going to declare a variable called inventory and initialize it with the value of stick. But that stick is in quote marks. It's a string.
cool. So this is
So
an object with, and we can get abstract. We could think of this as the value of this is the letters STICK in that order for now.
in that string of characters. Shall we declare that variable?
Yeah, I'm just sharing this course I like. So
Oh,
let inventory equals, and we need to always have the quotation mark stick.
Shiny, I'm bookmarking your question. We'll do it during the Q&A. Jess, before we move on,
Oh,
now that we've got a bunch of before we do the next exercise, we've got a bunch of variables here now. I want to try console logging them, if I may.
okay. So
Could I
let
ask you after line? Yeah, console.log, and let's
oh
try health. Remember, we're not putting quote marks because we're getting the value. Don't forget the
oh,
semicolon.
and this
So we're
didn't
going to get the
work
value.
because we
Yeah.
don't have the console open.
So there we can see we're printing out the value of health. What about stick? Error. Stick is not defined. That's right.
Bec-
We haven't printed out, we don't have a variable called stick. But if we put an inventory,
we get the
there's our stick.
string of sick. Ah,
Try fighting.
try fighting. Okay, but the learners are answering each other's questions and
Ooh, love it.
undef-
Now
because
this is
that's not
undefined.
initialized, it's not assigned to anything.
See some
Oh
great
no,
questions
all of
coming
these are
in. I'm
really good.
gonna
We're definitely going to answer these back to back. These are super good questions. Um,
so we can see that we can refer, we can get the reference, we can get the value inside each of these variables, like with console log. But now we're going to make a new kind of variable using the data type called the array.
yeah.
Now, an
So,
array is sorry.
no, I was going to say if I think of a variable as a box with a value, I think of an array as like a oh no, I've forgotten what they're called. They're big and they're gray and they have a bunch of drawers. I think of it as like a set of drawers or a bookshelf where you can have multiple shelves with multiple different boxes. Okay, so hang on. A cabinet, thank you. Hang on. Let's go through this question and answer that we've saved because somebody pointed out that a filing cabinet. S- So if we think of a variable as a box, an array is a filing cabinet where you can put a box in any of the drawers.
Yeah.
So
I
I
I'm
said something that I
actually
think is wrong, and the
what's that?
learners are appropriately confused. I said the string is a collection of characters treated as an object,
Yeah, that sounds right to me.
but I think objects in JavaScript are a specific thing.
So, but let's save that for the Q&A, if I
Okay.
may.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
in short, a string is definitely an object that you can
Oh, a string is
interact
an
with.
object. Yes.
A
And
string
do you
is
know how I
definitely an
know?
object. How's that?
Oh, I went to MDN. I'm not going to say this
I
for learners who have already been learning with us. What are the 3 things you should do if you don't know something? String object. Oh, wait, no, this is a different thing.
so
Well, we'll talk about this later.
there's some discussing going in, and I want to keep us on track to get through as many exercises as we
Yes,
can.
yes.
So we've got a new type, a data type, and I am going to respectfully disagree with some of the chat.
Ooh,
An array is a data type that is used to store zero or more values of different data types. So yes, an array is a data type that can store more things of different data types. It's gonna get weird, it's gonna get confusing, but we're going to play around with it if I may.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
in this
Everything's
example here,
chill.
we've got an order, a variable called order. We use square brackets to say, hey, the
Square
data
babies.
type of this is an array. And this
Okay.
array has 3 values,
3
each
strings.
separated by a comma. Yep. Each separated by a comma. So this array is made up of 3 values, 3 strings. The string that says first, the string that says second, and the string that says third.
Okay.
So let's first do the exercise and then play around with this array,
Yeah.
because this is going to be confusing and I want to make sure we all get it. So we're going to change our inventory variable. Instead of being just stick, it's going to be a variable that holds an array with stick, dagger, and sword.
Okay. So this variable has 3 things in it because it's got 3 drawers on the array filing cabinet.
Yes.
So
Think of it as a
I'm gonna
cabinet that you can magically add more drawers to.
yeah. So let inventory. I'm gonna add square babies, very technical term, around this one I already have. So I'm starting with the code I already have, and I'm gonna add a comma, and then another string for dagger, and I'm gonna come outside my string, and another string for sword. I'm gonna check my code just so I get that little dopamine hit.
Cool.
What happens if I console log inventory now?
Yes, please. So it's
Ooh,
logging stick, dagger, and sword. Let's play around with this a little bit, Jess. Let's make a new variable that is an array.
okay.
Let's call it, I don't know.
Oh, so I was asking the learners, what do we do? How do we solve problems? What do we do when we're stuck?
Oh,
And
before you fill it. Sorry.
no, no,
Can
no.
you remove that string for me real quick?
Yes.
Can you print it out for me? Can you console log problem solving?
Yeah. Ooh. What do we think this is going to look like?
Yeah.
And I should say the learners, the just square
So
babies.
this is just square brackets, and as Mehmet said very correctly, this is an empty array. This is an array with nothing in it.
Um,
And
and the first class is always a little bit slow, so I bet we'll go a little bit faster tomorrow.
absolutely.
So I could say, so if you don't know how to do something in programming, the first thing you can do is ask someone.
Check it out. It's getting printed out as Jess types it.
And then you can look it
Comma.
up. And then I know one of the learners has already said my favorite one, which is get weird, which is experiment. But what if I did want to get weird?
So far, Jess's array here has only strings in it. But now she's put in the value inside the current weapon variable. Mario's
Yeah.
asking, are we doing 2 days? We're doing 7 days of this.
Yeah, we got you. We're gonna have a guest come and pair with us who's a JavaScript expert and the calmest man in tech.
So as you can see, an array doesn't just have to have strings. They don't even have to all have the same things. You can have the number 3 in it. Put in undefined for fun, Jess. Now
Okay,
our array has, ask someone, look it up.
Oh.
Yeah. So this could be a list of all the stuff.
And we're previewing some types of data in JavaScript.
Yep.
If we don't know these yet, but we'll see them.
NA is asking a question I really want to answer right away. Is square brackets an empty array or a null array? It's empty. It's not null. It's just empty.
Yeah, there's nothing. It's not broken. It's just not doing anything right now. Oof, relatable.
Fahad saying undefined is a data type, and that is absolutely correct. And I'm so sorry in advance. We'll get to what that means in a bit.
So I'm going to remove that. Yeah. Let's bob to the next challenge.
Oh, pat.
So we want him to just start with stick. Oh, do you know what I like about this? This suggests that I can add things to this array through JavaScript, that I can use other types of JavaScript to add items into this array later.
Yeah. This is called dynamically changing the array.
Dynamically. That sounds very powerful. So all I've done here, nothing's going to hurt us. All I've done is removed everything but stick.
So now we've written a ton of JavaScript. We declared a bunch of variables. What we're going to do, Lisa's asking, are there lists in JavaScript? I'm going to save that for the Q&A. Yes.
So actually, what I'm doing right now is just making some divs with different IDs. It might make sense if you want to answer some of these questions while I do this, just because it's going to be a little typing.
Let's do it.
And folks who've done the web have seen this a lot. And folks who haven't, I'd recommend going and seeing the first couple of lessons in this, just because this is going to be kind of hard to teach on the fly if you haven't seen it, but not going to be a blocker if you're just copying.
So, there's good questions. Cool. Let me answer some of them. So Lisa, you asked, are there lists in JavaScript? So lists, I think, are the name for them in Python and other programming languages. Lists in JavaScript are called arrays. They're the same thing, essentially. So we'll be calling them arrays from now on.
Stats?
How many data types do we have in JavaScript? There's a bunch. I'm just going to list some off the top of my head. We've got objects, numbers, booleans, floats, or somebody said doubles, floating point, like decimal point stuff. Booleans, true, strings, undefined, and I think null is a data type as well. There's a bunch, and as you can tell from my not knowing them off by heart, you don't need to. Let me grab. If you're interested and you want to read about them, check out this article from MDN. MDN is fantastic. I'm going to post that link in here. If you want to find out about different JavaScript data structures, they're there.
I love how we're just like, no, please.
Shiny's asking, is string an object? And this is, it's created a bit of a discussion. Some people are saying it's not an object. Some people are saying it is.
I screwed up and said it was an object, but it's a data type which can sometimes be an object, sort of, conceptually.
Okay. I need to find out one thing before I say something completely wrong. Is everything an object in JavaScript? Because I think it is.
This would be convenient because remember, for no pressure, I'm not going to always be like, oh, remember web for folks who didn't do it. But when we did HTML, everything in HTML is a rectangle. Um, ooh, Kira's giving us some really interesting code. Give me just a second. We'll try this.
So, in short, JavaScript treats pretty much everything as an object, even
Yes.
functions. We'll get to functions later, I promise. But is string an object? In JavaScript, yes. Now, I don't know if you noticed my uncertainty around that, how like unsure I was of that. What I'm getting at is you don't need to worry about. Like on a day-to-day basis, you don't need to worry about whether strings are objects. Mari's asking even functions. Yes, JavaScript treats functions as objects. It's weird, y'all.
Oh, we've got Starlight in here, who's one of my favorite people about being consistently technically correct, which is one of the best types of correct. Wait. This is so interesting, but and we can go ahead and bring the like, what is an object? Where do objects end? Into the Discord as well. I don't. Sorry to be so bossy, but I just want to respan it. And this is weird
Yep.
because it looks like we're hard coding the text in
Ooh,
here.
hardcode.
Hard coding.
Yeah,
So
so we're back in our HTML. We've created a few divs.
So when I say I give this the text, it's not going to be wrapped in a P element. It's just. Oh.
Sorry, carry on.
Oh, span. I was paying no attention. You can go on talking about. I'm literally reading none of the instructions and then complaining, which is a very me thing to do.
Oh, you made divs instead of spans. That makes
Yeah,
sense.
that's me. No. It says. Yeah, I'm good. I'm like 20% sure I'm doing this right. And like 20% sure for me is like very, very sure. So we're creating these span. Do you know what? This might be a little hard if you haven't done the web dev, but it's chill. Everything's chill. And if you do get stuck, folks will absolutely help unstick you in the Discord, which is just here if you need it. Check our code. Nothing can hurt us. We are shining and immortal. Oh gosh, please do not govern your life as though you are shining and immortal. Wrap the numbers 100. So another span in here.
Oh, Mr. Grubworm is asking a question. That's a great question. We'll bring it up. Hatim is asking a great question as well. I'll save that for just a moment. Actually, I'll answer. I'll do that while you're wrapping those spans, Jess.
Yeah.
Mr. Grubworm is asking, how do you know when to use camel case for div IDs versus the HTML convention with a dash? Consistency is key. The convention is that you'll use dashes for IDs in HTML and camel case in JavaScript. The reason we're using them here is probably just to make it consistent with the JavaScript code. As said, this will differ from project to project, but most of the time you're going to see dashes for HTML, camel case for JavaScript.
I cheated and copied and pasted.
Hold on, Jess. I think. Oh no, you're good.
No, I'm not.
Strong
Oh.
span.
So the spans need IDs. Okay.
Oh, the inner IDs. Hatim's asking, what's the difference between using span and P? P is a semantic element that has a little bit of a pre-described notion of your browser understanding what's going to be in there. It's going to be a paragraph of text. Most browsers will by default apply a little bit of margin and padding. Again, these are terms from the web development bootcamp that you don't need to worry about too much for this bootcamp. Span is just text. Span's like, yo, there's text in here.
Yeah.
Oh, Starlight puts it much better than me. Span normally does nothing unless defined. P and div does things on their own, if I remember correctly. That's correct.
So I'm just gonna make this might be so I'm gonna add some buttons buttons, which again, very HTML-y.
Yeah, I think just given that we're at the top of the hour, I'm going to be mean and tell us we can stop here.
Can we?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so I
Because we'll
am
be
going to
starting at
assign some homework.
yes. The good news is all you got to do is do this step. Step 18. No?
No. So, no pressure. But if you haven't taken the Web Dev Bootcamp, let me get you the playlist.
Oh, I have it here.
Oh, you have it here. And so you might want to watch a couple of those just to get an idea of like, hey, here's what HTML is. Here's why everybody's talking about rectangles. So you have to do step 18, and that's it. We'll join you tomorrow. Your homework is step 18, just this one. And if you haven't done the JavaScript web development course, go ahead and you could either watch a couple of the videos if you want, or you could try just a couple of steps. You don't have to. I'm not the boss of you in the responsive web design. Just try a couple. You don't have to do the whole thing.
Yep.
Just to get a feel for how HTML feels. So it's just because I don't want you to get discouraged. And I don't want you to quit JavaScript because there's a lot of HTML in it. So your homework, just step 18, not a biggie. I mean, if you haven't done the other ones, up to step 18, please. And then if you haven't done the web development one before, just try a couple of the steps in there to get a feel for what needs to be on your HTML file, linking to CSS. You don't have to go into the weeds in CSS. Oh, and the most important homework. Do you want to give the chill homework, or shall I?
Well, I want to give the chill homework if I may, and that is to take it as easy as possible. We've already kicked off to a screaming start. We've thrown a bunch of concepts at you. There's one homework I really want to give you, and that is that, as you may have noticed, not everything is going to click right away. So the homework I'd like to offer you is to please trust me and trust yourselves to know that they will click eventually. You will need to keep playing around with them. You'll need to, what is it? What was it again? I forgot the 3 steps.
Oh,
Um,
yeah. So whenever you don't know what's going on, you can ask someone in the
yeah,
Discord or us. Unfortunately, if you ask us, you get us. You can look it up. So go to your favorite web search of choice and type in your question, or you could just experiment and get weird. And that doesn't have to do anything. You could swap out letters. You could see what breaks. Experimenting is so good for you in a frustrating
yeah.
way.
So I also encourage all of you to go to the Discord. I've just posted the link.
I've got somebody
Go there,
very,
ask
very
questions.
usefully
Oh,
pointing out, I'm gonna update the playlist right now. I'm sorry.
no. Like I mean, we were in the middle of teaching. There's no way we could have done it in the middle of the teaching session. Rob, we will get that playlist filled as soon as possible. Please go to the Discord, ask questions, also answer questions. Get
Oh,
stuff filled in.
do you
It's one of
know
the best
what?
ways to learn.
It melts my goofy little heart when I see somebody's asked a question, like, oh, I've got a other learners have explained this way better than I could. Oh,
Yeah. We got a question here from NA. Cost pizza varies from shop to shop. As it varies, it's not a question, sorry. Oh, no, it is. The cost varies between many shops. However, once you're in one shop, declare a variable. The variable is constant, right?
this is a question that's a spoiler.
Yeah. So I'm going to say something really annoying, which is it depends. Unless you reassign a value to that variable, it will stay constant. But once you change that value, well, now it's that new value. There are ways of declaring variables that can't change. I will send you an article into the chat, and I will not argue with y'all about them today because
We will argue later.
we will argue later. So check
Uh,
out this article I've just posted called var, let, and const. What's the difference? The short. Oh, sorry.
Oh, I was gonna say this is something that I want to stress that we're previewing. So we found a way. We've talked to you all about a way to declare a variable using the let keyword. Way tech talk. So the keyword let lets us define a variable. Okay. And later we're going to learn another way to declare a variable using const. I bet. Yeah. I don't have to know it now.
Love it. So, homework for us. Gonna fill in that YouTube playlist, and we'll also take it easy. I'm done with my
Mm.
day. I'm gonna
I'm
take
going
it
to go
super
have a
easy.
talk with that cat about not chewing on Wi-Fi cords and very normal. I mean,
Well,
he's not in trouble. He's in a little trouble.
everything's gonna be fine. We're gonna take it easy. So, biggest homework: breathe,
Chill.
relax, chill, and we'll see you tomorrow, same time.
Yeah. All right. Goodbye, loves.
See y'all later.